Hey guys, welcome to Math with Miss Grundy. Today we're going to be talking about percent equations and the multiple ways that we can write equations dealing with percents. Before we do that though, we're going to look a little bit at percents and just remind us of some things when we are dealing with percents. So when looking at this, I have a grid and it's a 10 by 10, meaning that the area or the total number of boxes is going to be 100. So this whole entire thing represents 100%, with each little box representing 1 out of the 100 or 1%. So I'm going to buy something online, of course, and it's 75% off the original price. That means that I need to color in 75 of the 100 squares because it's 75% or 75 out of 100. So I'm going to go ahead and color in my 75 squares, excuse me. So this would mean that the red represents what I don't pay because it's the price off. Therefore, the percent that I actually pay would be what's left. And what's left is 25 squares or 25%. So I want to go ahead and look at this and write an equation to represent something being 75% off. So I know that the sale price, or S, is going to equal 75% off the original. 75% off meaning I need to take 75% and subtract it from the original price. So I'm going to take my original price, P, and I'm going to subtract 75% of P. This being the amount off, because it was 75% off, so 75 times the original price. So this is the first way that I could write it. So I have my original price, let's say of $100. It's 75% off, so I need to take the 75 out of 100 off. So it would be 100 minus 75. Therefore, my sale price would be $25. However, I can write it a second way. And what I know is that I have to pay 25% of the total original. So what I can do is I know that the sale price is going to equal the percentage that I'm going to pay, which is 25, so 0.25. And I can multiply that times the original or the whole price, so P. So I can write this in two different ways. Alright, we're now going to look at something that is added. Excuse me, before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about the times that you might see sale or take a percentage off. So some of those times would be a markdown, a discount, a sale. These are some of the words that would tell you, hey, the price is going to be lower than the original. And now I want to talk about, we're going to add 10% more. So what that means is we have 100%. So we have our whole, one whole. And I want 10% more. So I want 10% more than the original. So I could write this equation in multiple ways. We have the whole and we're adding to it 10%. So this time, instead of my subtraction, I'm going to use addition. So this would be that the new price, or N, is equal to the original price plus what we're adding to it is 10% of the original. So 10% more of this. I know that any variable has an invisible 1 in front of it as its coefficient if it does not have a coefficient. So what I can do is I can rewrite this as N equals 1p plus 0.10p, and I can simplify that by combining my like terms. Therefore, my new price equals 1.1p. So two different ways that I can write the same equation. I just combined like terms. We're going to go ahead and do talk about when we would see adding a percentage. So to add 10% more, you may see this as a markup. You will see this as tax, as tip if they leave a percent tip. You can also see this as like an investment. Deposited. Increase. You might just see that they're increasing the price. So we're going to go ahead and do another example of each type of problem. So this one is going to be one where it is a sale or a markdown. We're going to do a markdown this time. A markdown. And the markdown is going to be 7%. So that means, just like a discount, they're taking 7% off the original cost, which for us is 7 squares out of 100. And the rest of it is what they have, or how much the item is actually going to cost. So this means that the percentage of the whole that they're actually going to pay is 93%. I got 93% because it is 100 squares And they are marking it down 7% or 7 squares, which leaves us with 93 squares. So I'm going to write my equation the first way. The first way is that the quantity is going to equal the original, the whole price, minus this percent that they took off. In order to find a percent of a number, we have to multiply the percent by the number. However, we don't know what the whole represents, so we're still using a W for the whole, and we're going to take W times our 7%. So 0.07 times W. This is our first way that we can write it. So our whole minus the 7% of the whole will give us all this green. The second way that we can write it is by combining like terms. So we can say Q equals, remember there's a 1 in front of any variable that does not have a coefficient, W minus 0.07 W. I'm going to combine my like terms, so my W's, and I'm left with Q equals 0.93 W. So I took this equation and I combined like terms. All right, we're going to do one more markup. So this time our markup is going to be 25%. Because it's a markup, that means they take the original price, or tax, they take the original price, which is 100%, and they're going to add to it or mark it up or tax it up 25%. So I need to color in 25 squares. So 25%. So I have 100%, and to it I need to add my 25%. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with my quantity is going to equal the 100% of the original, so the original or the whole, plus the 25% of the whole, so 0.25 W. Again, this 100% is represented with the W, knowing that there is an invisible 1 as your coefficient. And then this 25% is represented by the 0.25 of the whole price. So I'm going to write it my second way. So I had my original, which was quantity equals 1 W plus 0.25 W. And then I'm going to take and combine my W's, my like terms, and I get Q equals 1.25 W. So this is one way, and then this is the second way that you could write the equation to represent percents. Question, comment, leave it below, click like, let your friends know that there is a new video up on their assignments up on Google Classroom. Hopefully you're able to join us for the live chat today. If not, please reach out Google Classroom so that you can find out exactly what you need to be doing at home.